Ciao everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I'm honored to be your guide in this vinyasa adventure. Please get ready to start and grab a couple of blocks and a blanket if you have them. Fun fact, I just taught this class at the studio where I teach in Amsterdam, and a couple of students asked me to record it, so here it is. It's a fairly challenging and intense practice. I'll show also variations of the poses, and you can always skip something and rest when needed. I will add some music when editing the video, and I'm pretty sure that some of those songs are copyrighted, and YouTube will show a small rectangle with some ads on. I don't receive any money, it's the owner of the music who monetizes on my video, but hopefully it will run below my yoga mat on the screen and won't distract you from the practice. When you're ready to start, please lie down on the mat in Shavasana, corpse pose. If you cannot lie down in Shavasana because maybe you have a bit of lower back pain, then bend your knees and take your feet down on the floor, flattening your spine down on the mat, keeping your chin toward your chest. If this doesn't help, then maybe grab a bolster or a big pillow and place it under your back, or simply take a sitting position instead. Once you find your position, take a moment to fully arrive on your yoga mat in this specific moment, with your body and with your mind as well. Aware of the space where you are. Aware of your own body. Maybe noticing physical sensations and emotions as well.
Now, we come here right at the start to an extremely important principle, which is the different points of view you get when you change your level of magnification. That is to say, you can look at something with a microscope and see it a certain way. You can look at it with the naked eye and see it in a certain way. You look at it with a telescope and you see it in another way. Now, which level of magnification is the correct one? Well, obviously, they're all correct, but they're just different points of view. You can, for example, look at a newspaper photograph under a magnifying glass, and where with the naked eye you will see a human face, with the magnifying glass you will just see a profusion of dots, rather meaninglessly scattered. But as you stand away from that collection of dots, which all seem to be separate and apart from each other, they suddenly arrange themselves into a pattern. And you see that these individual dots add up to some kind of sense. Now you'll see at once from this illustration that maybe you, when you take a myopic view of yourself, as most of us do, but you may add up to some kind of sense that is not apparent to you in your ordinary consciousness. When we examine our bloodstreams under a microscope, we see there's one hell of a fight going on. All sorts of microorganisms are chewing each other up. And if we got overly fascinated with our view of our own bloodstreams in the microscope, we should start taking sides, which would be fatal, because the health of our organism depends on the continuance of this battle. What is, in other words, conflict at one level of magnification is harmony at a higher level. Now, could it possibly be, therefore, that we, with all our problems, conflicts, neuroses, sicknesses, political outrages, wars, tortures, and everything that goes on in human life, are a state of conflict which can be seen in a larger perspective as a situation of harmony? Well, it is claimed, you see, that some human beings have broken through to that vision, that they've slipped somehow or other into states of consciousness where they see the apparent disintegration and disorganization of everyday life as the functioning of a totality, which at its level is completely harmonious. And you can say, aha, at last I see, I got the point. I've seen how all this makes sense.
What we just listened is an extract from Alan Watts, titled "It All Makes Sense." And it is related to the concept of this class, awakening. Our life journey is awakening from misunderstand ourselves, thinking that there is a separation with the otherness, to our real self and the realization that everything is interconnected with everybody and everything else. Please join your palms in Namaste and take your hands on the third eye center, that point in between your eyebrows on your forehead, setting your intention for the practice today. Perhaps reminding yourself the reason why you practice yoga. Then slowly release your arms along your body on a T shape, opening to the sides of your mat, palms facing up or down. Take your knees toward your chest, bending your knees. And then allow your knees to fall toward one side. Pick your knees up back to the center and allow the knees to fall on the other side. Let's continue in this way. If you like, once you are on one side, you can also extend and slide the upper leg toward the opposite hand. Circling back, coming back to the center, and doing the same on the other side. If you have enough space in your room, of course. Careful if there are objects or maybe other people or pets around you. Continue in this way and start breathing maybe with your Ujjayi breath. The breath is sound contracting the throat if you're using that type of breathing technique. Otherwise, keep your awareness on your breath. Feel free to exhale through the mouth when you like it. Come back to the center, bend your knees, feet facing the ceiling, Ananda Balasana, happy baby, grabbing the outside of your legs or maybe the outside of your feet. Keeping your chin to the chest, maybe rocking gently side to side. Warming up a bit the hips, as it is our anatomical focus for this class, hips and balancing posture. Come back to the center, close your legs, and place your right ankle on top of the left knee in a reclined pigeon pose, Supta Eka Padasana. Keep your left leg extended or bent, you decided. Now place your hands next to your buttocks on the floor, press down with your hands, and with a bit of core engagement, see if you can lift up your buttocks and your legs, and then release it down. Continuing in this way for a couple of times. Careful with your neck. And then change the side, so you place your left ankle on top of your right knee. Your right leg is lifted up, you can keep your knee bent or extend. And then again, maybe help yourself with your hands on the floor, engaging the core and lifting the buttocks up any amount. Careful with the shoulders, try to keep the shoulders a bit down toward the floor without lifting them up too much. And then release and come back down on the floor. Now start extending both legs toward the ceiling, and we scissor, we swing the legs like a scissor. Maybe you need to bend the knees for this one. Keep your hands on the floor as a support if needed. You can go also faster than me, but I encourage you to look for quality of your movement. Looking and observing what's going on your body now. And then slowly release both legs down on the floor. Supta Padangustasana. Bend your right knee to your chest. Keep your chin to the chest. Interlace your hands either on top of your right knee, bringing the knee a bit closer to your chest, or you can extend the right leg. In that case, you can interlace your hands behind the knee or even further up toward the ankle. Keep breathing here. Remember, we are at the beginning of the practice, so don't force it. We go for a B variation, so we bend the knee and we open the right hip to the right. You can use your right hand as a support on the right knee. Rotate your head to the left. Keep both buttocks in contact with the floor. The hips are opening in opposite direction. Then bring your right knee back to the center. Leave your right foot down on the floor, open the knee to the floor and slide your right leg down next to the left one. We go on the other side, so we bend the left knee, we take it to the chest, we stay here or extend the left leg any amount, maybe using the hands now just underneath the knee or toward the foot. And again, we bend the knee, we open the left hip to the left, and we rotate the head toward the right. Then come back with your knees, hug them with your hands. And then curl toward your favorite side, help yourself with one hand and then come up to sit. Keep your feet in front of you on the floor, a bit wider than your hips, and your hands behind you with your fingers facing the buttocks or outside. We go for half pigeon, so we slide the knees toward one side, pick them up to the center and allow them to fall on the other side. Continuing in this way, notice if this movement is flowing on your hips or there is a bit of rigidity here. Then stay on one side, come up with your torso and leave your hands down for a forward fold in half a pigeon. Keep your gaze down on the floor, keep breathing here. One more breath. Inhale, lift up, move your knees up and fold on the other side. Maybe only the hands down, maybe the forearms down, maybe even the forehead down on the floor. As you inhale, next time move up with your head and your chest and roll all the way forward to the front of your mat. Come to a tabletop position with your hands down on the floor. Inhale, tuck your toes and arch your spine, look straight. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Extend your legs in here. Maybe pedal your feet a couple of times, bending one knee at a time, checking also with the legs muscles. Feel free to shake your head, saying yes and no a couple of times. And then come back to stillness. As you inhale, reach up with your right leg, point your foot, stay here. Open the right hip to the right, bending your right knee. Let's do a couple of circles with the right ankle here, in both directions. Keep pressing back with your shoulders. Then stop that movement and start making circles with the right hip. Again, a couple in one direction and then change the direction. Notice if you are going fast and slow down instead. Move your hips square to the front of your mat and step your right foot all the way outside your right hand. Outside the mat is even better for this variation of lizard pose. Inhale, reach up with your right arm. You can keep it here perpendicular to the floor, or maybe you can open the right shoulder even more, twisting slightly the hips and the torso toward the right. Maybe doing a nice semicircle with the upper arm to the front of the mat, up and over your head, and then releasing your right hand down on the floor. Step your right foot all the way back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale your left leg, reach up to the ceiling. Stay, open the left hip to the left. Let's make a couple of circles with the left ankle in both directions. Make a couple of circles with the left hip itself, again in both directions. Inhale, square your hips to the front of your mat. Exhale, lizard pose variation, left foot outside your left hand. Moving up as you inhale with your left arm, stay here, or maybe twisting a bit more, opening the chest a bit more, the left arm reaching back. Maybe doing a nice semicircle with the arm facing the front of the mat. And releasing all the way down. And now let's step the right foot outside the right hand. Slowly moving all the way up, rolling one vertebra at a time, the head coming as last. Nice semicircle with your arms, reaching up to the ceiling. Exhaling, release your arms along your body. From this position, keep your feet wide apart. We squat all the way with the arms reaching forward. Keep your gaze down on the floor. Inhale, extend your legs and reach up with your arms, maybe looking up to the ceiling. Exhale, squat, arms reaching forward. One more time. Inhale, extend the legs, arms reaching up, looking up. Exhale, squatting. Maybe squatting even more into this wide Malasana variation. Keep your feet and the knees opening to the sides, your hands resting on the floor. Maybe you can keep your feet a bit closer together, the heels down if possible. Keep your spine round, keep reaching further away with your hands. And then slowly as you inhale, start extending the legs. Feet parallel to each other, roll up. Semicircle with your arms, reaching up to the ceiling. As you exhale, come to Samasthiti to the front of your mat. Feet together, hands together. Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, arms reach up, Urdhva. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Keep your gaze to the knees. Inhale, halfway up, extend your spine. Exhale, step or jump back for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press up, Cobra or upper facing dog, ears away from the shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here, or maybe in child position with the knees and the forehead down on the floor. 1. Keep breathing. 2. In down dog, gaze to your knees. 3. With your next inhalation, step or jump your feet to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold to your knees. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms together. Exhale in Samasthiti. One more round. Inhale, arms reach up, Urdhva. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, gaze to the knees. Inhale in, extend your spine, extend the legs. Exhale, step or jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows closed. Inhale, press up, Cobra or upper facing, looking straight or up. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here or in child. 1. 2. Bend the knees in down dog if needed. And 3. Inhale, step or jump your feet to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Surya Namaskara B. Inhale, bend the knees, Utkatasana chair, arms reaching up. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, extend your spine and prepare. Exhale, step or jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press up, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, step your right foot in between the hands, rise up for Warrior 1. The back heel down on the floor, the front knee bent, maybe hands together looking up. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, look down, hands on the floor, step back either to the dog or heavy or vinyasa. Manage your energy level here, skip the vinyasa when you need. We meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot in between the hands and rise up for warrior one on the other side. As you exhale, release your hands down, step back to the dog or heavy or vinyasa. We meet in downward facing dog for 3 breaths here or maybe in child position. Recognizing how it is your breath now, maybe it flows a bit faster. With your next inhalation, step or jump your feet to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold to your knees. Bend the knees, inhale in chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhaling, Samasthiti. Hook your thumbs together, inhale, reach up and back. As you exhale, fold forward, pass your arms over the head, maybe interlacing the thumbs once again or simply pressing behind you. Keep your gaze to the knees. With the next inhalation, release your hands down on the floor and step your right foot all the way back in low lunge. Release your back knee down on the floor and come to half split, extending the front leg and flexing your front foot. Stay here, folding and looking down, or work toward Hanumasana, full split. If you do have the full split, option to raise your arms up to the ceiling. You can also use blocks in here under your hands if you are not there yet. Then use your arms to slide back, carefully if your mat is sticky like mine. Nice semicircle with your left hip. Take your toes on the mat, keep your knees separated, inhale and reach up for camel pose, Ustrasana. Hands on your lower back, fingers facing out. Hips moving forward, the chest is opening, stay here or release at the top of the head back. Stay or maybe go for your heels with your hands. Don't sit on your heels. Stay here, 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Hands on the lower back, chin to the chest. Move all the way forward to Balasana, child pose. Keep your knees pointing out. Your arms extending in front of you, bending the elbows and taking a namaste behind your head. Reconnecting with your own breath, your own prana, the life force in here. Mindful of your own breath. Release your hands down on the floor. As you inhale, reach up to cow pose, arch your spine, tuck your toes. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, extending the legs in down dog. Inhale, step or jump your feet to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold to your knees. Hook your thumbs, inhale, reach all the way up, a small big back bend here. Exhale, fold forward, pass your arms over the head once again, maybe interlacing the thumbs once more. Inhale, release your hands down on the floor and we step the left foot back to the back of the mat this time on low lunge. Your back knee down on the floor, half split, extend your front leg, flexing the foot, stay. Or work toward Hanumasana, sliding as you can your front foot. If you are there in the full split, maybe arms reaching up. Again, if you are not there yet, please use the blocks to help you here. You can also use them in the highest version, so something like this. Maybe it helps you also if you use the back foot in a bit more active way, so pointing the foot and lifting the knee up. Again, respecting the body boundaries, don't force anything to happen. Wherever you are, slowly slide your front foot backward. Nice semicircle with the right hip this time. Keep your knees close together and tuck your toes on the mat and sit on your heels. In a variation of hero pose, Virasana. Now from this position, we try to move on our feet with the soles of the feet in contact with the mat. Perhaps you need your hands on the mat or on blocks to do that. Otherwise, maybe keep them in front of you free as a counterbalance option. So we reach up with the knees. Maybe the heels stay up, maybe hands are down on the floor. Maybe you can release also the heels down on the floor. Keep your hands in front of you, maybe toward the floor. Maybe you feel something, stretching sensation on the front of your ankles here. Slowly move up, use the hands on the floor if needed. Slowly with control release your knees down on the floor. Release now your toes down on the floor, so you sit on the heels, but with a dorsiflication, the dorso of the feet is down on the floor. Careful here if your ankles are a bit weak, especially if you played soccer for a lot of time or football like my husband. From here, again, you might want to use your hands on the floor next to your buttocks or on blocks, or maybe no hands. You place them, rest them on the lap, and see if you can lean backward and lift up your knees. So you should feel also something again on your ankle happening in here. Let's do it again. We move up with the buttocks, tuck the toes and sit on the heels. We move in thunderbolt variation with the knees up, heels up or heels down on the floor. We come up with the heels, the knees fall down on the floor. Dorsiflicate your ankles. Torso of the feet down on the floor. Maybe hands on the floor, stay. Lean back, knees up. And release down. Hands are down on the floor. Tuck your toes, inhale, cow pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Shiva dance, inhale your right leg, reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, your right knee to your forehead. Inhale, come back up with your right leg, it's the same side. Exhale, your right knee to your right elbow, stay or option to fly. You need to bend both elbows, supporting the chest with the left elbow. And then come back down, downward facing dog, your right leg up. While thing, open your right hip and release your right foot down on the floor. Maybe the right arm also reach over the head. Slowly come back in downward facing dog. Let's take a break down. Either a hero pose or variation or child pose. Giving a break to your wrist as well. Maybe taking the yoga mudra. Thumbs and index fingers together. Reconnecting with your own breath. And then slowly as you inhale, hands on the floor, tuck your toes, cow pose, arch your spine. Exhale, down dog. Other side. Inhale, left leg reach up in three-legged dog. Exhale, your left knee to your forehead. Inhale, rise up with the left leg. Exhale, left knee to the left elbow, stay, or bend both elbows, flying, maybe. Come back, three-legged dog. Exhale, while thing on the other side, your left foot down on the floor. Slowly release, come back in down dog, just for a moment. As you inhale, step or jump your feet to the front of your mat. Exhale, fall to your knees. Bend your knees, inhale in chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. We step the left foot all the way back into Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Hips opening in opposite direction, bending the front knee. Nice distance in between your feet. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Trikonasana triangle pose, extend the front leg. Inhaling, tilting the pelvis, reaching forward. Exhaling, releasing your right hand down on the floor, maybe on a block. Option to extend the left arm to the ceiling. For a bit more activation in your shoulder, reach forward, keeping the rotation in the torso, the chest is opening to the ceiling. If the neck bothers you, instead of looking up, please look down on the floor. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Focus spot on the floor, few centimeters in front of your front foot. Bend your front leg and reach toward that focus spot with your right hand. If it doesn't touch, use a block underneath your hand, or a bit more activation and strength here, so you don't touch the floor nor use a block. You need more strength in the core and in the standing leg. Now, need to have your hand down on the floor, so bend your knee if needed. Release the other hand on the buttocks, flex your left foot, and start opening your hip to the left. Keep the leg extended if possible. Careful if there is a wall, a wardrobe, a kid, and then slowly release both feet down on the floor. Bend your knees, inhale in chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale in Samasthiti. Now it might be a bit easier on the other side because it's the same mini sequence. We step the right foot all the way back, a deep inhalation here into your Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Take a moment here to acknowledge that is a hip opener, not a back bend, so use your core here, the pubic bone reaching forward. The arms are strong, but the shoulders relax. Feel free to swing a bit in here just to release your hips as well. Deep breath in. Exhaling into Trikonasana, you extend your front leg, shifting your body weight forward, rotating the torso, stay here. Again, option to use your upper arm and move it to the front of your mat. Stay, or we move into half moon. Focus spot on the floor in front of your mat. Go toward the direction with your left hand or place a block, or keep a bit more activation here. So you stay up, don't touch the mat. Lot of option here. Play around. Now everybody, let's move the left hand down on the floor, bending the standing leg. Your other hand is just on your buttocks or hip. Flex the right foot, move your right hip, opening to the right, and then closing the leg. Bend the knees, Utkatasana chair, exhale Samasthiti. I didn't hit the wall. I bet some of you actually said, oh, she's gonna hit the wall. I didn't. Inhale, Utkatasana chair. Exhale, twist to your right. Your left elbow outside your right knee. Keep your hands in the middle of the chest. Don't cheat. Your hands are not on the shoulder, are in the middle of your chest. In between your boobs. Yes, also man has boobs. Inhaling back to the chair, arms reaching up. Exhaling, twisting on the other side. If the neck bothers you all the time, don't look up, just look down on the floor. One more breath in here, maybe squatting even lower. Inhaling back to the center. Exhaling, Samasthiti. We do a bit of a balancing posture. Find your focus spot on the floor and keep your drishti, your gaze there, and your mind focused. You need to breathe in here and engage the core muscle, the whole belt, not just here, the turtle, but also the back and even the upper back. Body weight on the right leg, hands in Namaste for Vikrasana tree pose. We enter in this way, left knee up, open to the left, and place your foot wherever it comes. Don't use your hand, too easy. Use the muscles. It's okay if the foot is not gonna be all the way up here, maybe it's down there. Good. Hips still opening in opposite direction. Stay or go for Uttita Hasta Padangustasana B. In that case, left hand on your left knee, reach up with your left foot, the other hand is on your waist. Stay or go for the foot and maybe extend as you can your left leg. Your hips are still moving in opposite direction. Maybe extend your other arm, right one to the right. Come back to the center, bending the knee and releasing all the way down in mountain pose, Tadasana. Give a shake to the legs if needed here. And then reset, focus spot on the floor. Now you know the sequence. Your body weight on the left leg, hands in Namaste, tree pose, Vikrasana, right knee reaching up, open, and place your right foot wherever it comes. So you need a bit of hip flexors and psoas muscles working if you try in this way without using the hand. And again, stay or maybe go for Uttita Hasta Padangustasana, left hand on your waist, right hand on the knee, lifting the right foot up. Stay or go for the foot and extend the right leg as you can. Maybe extending the left arm to the left. Stay here. Keep opening the hips, don't bring the leg forward to the front of your mat. Bend the knee, everybody. Let's come back to the center and release into Tadasana. Maybe giving a shake to the legs once again. Reset yourself once again, center, root. We just practiced the tree pose, so imagine the roots of the tree growing from your feet and rooting down on the mat. So find a bit of steadiness in that image if it helps you. And then we place again our body weight on the right leg for flamingo pose, the hands in Namaste, the left knee reach up to the chest. We open the hip to the left, placing the left ankle just on top of the right knee. Now maybe you want to stay here, good hip opener. Next step, start squatting. So you bend the standing leg, you squat down and you mount, maybe going forward. So a small forward fold with your forearms touching your left shin. If it's easy, then go even lower with your forward fold, releasing your hands down on the floor or on blocks. Option for the arm balance, the flying pigeon. In that case, you need your left shin to touch your elbow or even better your upper arms. Swinging the body weight forward as you do in crow pose, Bakasana, and maybe lifting the right foot up. Keep breathing here. Keep trying, maybe just swinging the body weight forward. It's okay if the back foot doesn't lift up. If you were flying, slowly find your way in the forward fold with the right foot down on the floor. And then as you inhale, everybody, let's move all the way up. Back into Tadasana, mountain pose again, giving a shake if needed. Let's go on the other side, hands in Namaste, body weight on the left leg. The right knee reach up for flamingo pose, open the hip to the right, right ankle on top of the left knee. Stay, or squat down, forearms touching the shin, or forward folding a bit more with your hands touching the floor, bending the elbow and swinging maybe forward with the body weight, left foot reaching up, maybe even extending the leg back. And then slowly releasing, moving all the way up. Let's give a nice shake in here, shaking the whole body. I know that it looks awkward, but you are at home, nobody is watching you, so just give a nice shake here to the whole body, to the nervous system as well. Maybe exhaling through the mouth a couple of times. Then start slowing down the shake. Coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. And then place all the body weight on your right leg, your left knee reach up, open to the left. As you inhale, warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. For Parsvakonasana, extend the thigh angle, side flexion to the front of your mat, forearm on your knee or right hand down on the floor or on a block. Keep rotating with the torso. Stay here, give a moment to enter this position. The back foot is down on the floor. For Svargadvinasana, the bird of paradise, let's leave the right hand toward the floor, even though it doesn't touch, it doesn't matter. Inner rotation of your shoulders, so they go inward. So you can release your left hand on your buttocks and you can pass your right hand on the inside of your legs. If you have a bind, keep the bind. If not, I will show you a variation. Let's step the left foot forward. You might want to walk instead of just stepping. If you have the bind, body weight on your left leg, I repeat, left leg, so you can lift up your right leg. Keeping the knee bent, or maybe extending the leg as you can. Here I'm doing something weird because I have the wall and my cat is looking at me like, what the heck? All right, show you also what you can do if you don't have the bind. So you come to the front of your mat. This time we squat and we place the elbow, right elbow, just underneath the right knee and we reach up. You keep the inner rotation on the other shoulder, and you keep this variation instead. And you work from here maybe to extending the leg or keep it bent. All right, if you have bird of paradise or variation, release it. And recenter yourself in Tadasana mountain pose. Let's go on the other side. Body weight on your left leg, your right knee, reach up. Nice inhalation here. Move all the way to the back of your mat and open into warrior two on the other side. Parshvottanasana, in and in here. Exhale, side flexion to the front of your mat. Left elbow on the knee or left hand on the inside of your left foot, maybe using a block in here. Keep breathing. Torso rotating, chest opening to the ceiling, looking up or down on the floor. For bird of paradise, we prepare in this way. Inner rotation of both shoulders, the right hand on the buttocks, the left hand toward the floor, passing on under your legs, maybe making a bind. Step or walk your right foot to the front of your mat, body weight on the right leg, the left knee and the left leg reach up. Stay, keep looking on the floor. If you are looking at me, it might put you out of balance, so maybe have a look to see what I'm doing and then do it yourself. I'm talking with my foot now. Italians talk with whatever, hands, feet. Again, if you don't have the bind, take this variation. The right arm is still doing the inner rotation, and then you hook the knee on the elbow, maybe extending the leg in here or maybe not. Keep in mind this is a hip opener. The hips are opening in opposite direction. Come back to the center and release. Again, give a shake if needed. And then recenter yourself in Tadasana, mountain pose. We take then a big step to the back of the mat, right or left, your choice, so that you can maybe face the device and see what we're doing. Your hands in Namaste, however, as we squat down in side lunge, you might want to have your hands free and down on the floor as a support. We start bending the left knee a bit more, squatting down any amount, coming into side lunge, maybe lifting the heel up, and then carefully, maybe using the hands behind you, release your buttocks down on the floor. Side flexion toward the leg that is extended, which is the right one. So with your opposite arm, left arm to the right leg. Keep the other hand maybe hooked on the left ankle. Keep breathing here. And then slowly release, come back up. And release this time the left knee down toward the extended leg for half hero pose. If you feel like you are falling toward one side, blocks are your friends in the yoga practice. And you can place it under your buttocks. Stay up here, or as you exhale next time, fold forward any amount. Maybe reaching for your foot. Careful here if you are using this more active variation. Keep breathing. As you inhale, reach up with your head and your torso. Lift up the left knee, because we will come up as we come down, which is not easy. Again, you might want to use your hands behind you on the floor to help you. Maybe you want to try with a bit more mobility of the hips and your core. In that case, keep your hands in front of you. Swing your body weight forward. Pivot basically on your left ankle. Use the right heel down on the floor also to help you here. Move forward and all the way up. We go on the other side. Hands in Namaste or hands ready to catch you on the floor. Bend your right knee this time for a side lunge on the other side. Releasing your buttocks down on the floor. We go for a side flexion again toward the extended leg. In this case is your left one. Keep breathing here. And then slowly release, come up with your head and your chest, and release your right knee down on the floor toward the extended leg. Adjust yourself for half hero pose. Stay up straight, or as you exhale, fold forward in your mount. Keep breathing here. One more breath. Then inhaling, moving up with your torso, right knee up, use the hands on the floor behind you or move all the way up. Stay here, we prepare for grasshopper. Let me check if the microphone still has some batteries. Yes, it does. Good. Grasshopper. Boing, boing. Our legs are open on a V shape. We close them, but we keep the distance of the hips. Now, as I said in the class, imagine Charleston, you know, when they dance in this way, we do this type of swinging of the hips, bringing the left foot to the opposite hand. I'll show you also if it doesn't touch. If it touch, catch your foot, and we start bending the standing leg, the right one. Use the other hand on the floor on your left side to help you to fall down on the floor, any amount, maybe all the way down for the grasshopper position. And if you don't have the bind with your foot, it will be the same thing. Charleston move, squatting down, left hand down on the floor, going toward the same direction with the other hand. Reaching all the way up and trying on the other side. Charleston move on the other side. Opposite hand to the foot if possible, squatting down, other hand all the way on the side to help you here, maybe extending the leg or keeping it bent. If you don't have the bind, same thing. And then slowly moving up. Maybe give it a try, a bit more, give you a bit more time if you wanna try it again. And then moving up and back to the front of your mat, finding your Tadasana mountain pose. Taking a moment to appreciate your own body and everything that it can do for you, not only here on the mat in our yoga practice, but also out there in our everyday life. Then slowly open your eyes. With your next inhalation, rise up with your arms toward the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, step back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press up, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, move forward to plank. Exhale, release everything down on the floor. Salambhasana locust pose, fingers interlace on your back, pubic bone down on the floor. Inhale, reach up with the head and the chest, maybe the feet as well, maybe feet together. Keep breathing here. As you inhale, maybe reaching even higher. Exhale, release down. Repeat locust pose or go for Dhanurasana, bow pose, bending the knees and catching the ankles from the outside and lifting everything that you have. Slowly release everything down, give a swing to your hips. Place your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes. Inhale, press up to high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Shoulder pressing, Bhuja Pidasana. Jump your feet outside your hands. And then walk your hands backward, bending the elbows and moving your feet closer together. Lean back on your hands, on your palms. Keep the elbows bent. You're pressing onto your shoulders or the upper arms. Maybe the feet can hook together. Keep your gaze down on the floor. Maybe go for Titibhasana, extending the legs. And then release your buttocks down on the floor into Navasana, boat pose, hands down for support or legs extended if you want something a bit more challenging. Keep your gaze to the legs. Keep breathing. One more breath. Cross your ankles, feet on the floor, swing your body weight forward, hands on the floor, step back to the dog or have a vinyasa. We meet in downward facing dog. Step or jump your feet in between your hands, coming again into Navasana, boat pose for a second round. Again, option hands down on the floor or legs extended. And then this time we go into Halasana, plow pose, so hands on the floor, swing back, feet over the head, maybe touching the floor, maybe not. Keep your chin to the chest. Open your legs slightly on a V shape. We roll, then bend the knees, place your hands under the knees, roll on your back, buttocks on the floor, Navasana variation, hands under the knees or hands on your feet, maybe extending the legs. Looking toward the ceiling, keep breathing here. Maybe close your legs together, folding toward your legs. And then everybody bending the knees, feet on the floor, give yourself a nice hug in here, well deserved. For compass pose, cross your legs. Leave your right leg crossed down on the floor and leave your left foot on the floor with the left knee up. First option, your right hand down on the floor, just next to you on your right side. Left hand catching your left leg and extending the left leg as you can, not straight but out toward the left. So something like this. If this is easy, then you go down first in a forward fold. In a rotation of your left shoulder, you pass under your left leg. The other hand is also on the floor as a support for a moment. Then you start extending your left leg and you try to catch it with your other hand. So right hand, left foot. Show you also from the back as I did in the class because I think it's confusing when I show you without mirroring. So if you're taking this second variation, both hands are down on the floor first in a rotation of your shoulders, then you start extending the left leg and the opposite hand, which is your right one, will catch your foot. Keep the other hand down on the floor as a support. Maybe you need to have your buttock lifted up, that's fine too. And then release it down. And we see how it goes on the other side. So you keep the left knee down on the floor and the right foot now is on the floor, the right knee is bent. The first option is to keep your left hand down on the floor and to grab the foot or somewhere on the leg and open the hip to the right. We are still working on hip openers and maybe extending the leg, that's it. Maybe you can try to do this type of movement to work toward the compass pose without forcing anything, or maybe you can fold forward. In rotation of the shoulder, you pass your right arm under your right leg. Then starting extending your right leg and the opposite hand, which is the left one, catch the right foot. Again, maybe you want to stay on one buttock, the left one in this case, or maybe both buttocks are down on the floor. Slowly release. Come back down. For Kukutasana, the rooster position, either keep your legs crossed or half lotus, right foot first to your left hip, full lotus, left foot next on your right hip. Now the first option is to practice with blocks. under the hands are next to the buttocks, blocks on the floor, and we use the block to lift ourselves up. The secret here is, yes, to engage the core. If you have long arms, it definitely helps. And swing your body weight forward, so your shoulders are leaning a bit forward, and you counterpose with a bit of hip mobility so that the knees can lift up if you have the lotus, otherwise the knees will be on the floor if you have just your legs crossed. And engage the core so that you keep the balance. All right, if you have your legs crossed, I show you that variation. You work anyway toward this position with the blocks. So now I have my legs just crossed. The blocks maybe next to you, and then swing your body weight forward. Use your arms to press up, and maybe the buttocks will lift up and your knees will stay on the floor. That's it. Maybe the knees lift up and only the feet are on the floor. If you have full lotus, blocks on the floor, lifting up. Swing the body weight forward. If you swing too much without engaging then a bit of hip mobility to lift the knees up and a bit of core, you will probably end up like here. And then Kukutasana, the rooster pose, is the next level of this position, Super Saiyan level. You place your hands in between your legs, and then you swing forward and do the same movement. And here, unfortunately, you don't have much space to slide the block underneath, so you really need to work only with your arms. And in my case, I have an advantage because my arms are long, let's face it. So I don't struggle that much, but if your arms are not that long, then it requires even more strength in the core, mobility in the hips, the lotus, a good lotus pose. So it's a lot, and so we gradually progress toward that position, who might not really happen, but we work out anyway. All right, if you had enough of the rooster pose, come back on the floor for Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Couple of options again. We extend the legs for a moment, and notice how it is actually now that we have the legs extended. And then we bend the right knee, we take the right knee on top of the left one. Then we will work with the shoulders, but I'll show you also the other variation, leaning to the left and bending the left knee as well. And you end up having this position, for some reason, called cow face. Now from here we work with the shoulders as well. So your left arm reaching up is the opposite compared to the top knee. In a rotation of the shoulders, maybe the hands will touch on the back, don't force anything. If you have a strap or a belt, it's a good idea to hold it on with your hands so the elbows are still opening to the side. Now you can stay here or you can fold forward in a mount toward the upper knee. Keep your gaze down on the floor and we stay here 2 nice breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. In and rise all the way up and release. We change the position of the legs. So now you have your left knee on top of the right one. Maybe the right leg will be extended, or you can have both knees bent. Right arms reaching up in the rotation of your shoulders, hands on your back, maybe binding. Inhale here, stay, or as you exhale, fold forward in a mount. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, rise up, release your arms, give a shake to the shoulders, and extend your legs in front of you. Janu Shirshasana, first option. Right knee to your chest, open to the right. Maybe place the right knee on a block or pillow if it doesn't touch. You can keep your right foot on the inside of your left leg, like a 3 legs position, or have a half lotus, your right foot on the left hip. Stay, inhaling here, exhale, fold forward in a mount, hands relax on the mat or catch your foot. Stay here, breathing in, breathing out, breathe in, breathe out, Last one, breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, rise up. If you have the half lotus, take this variation of Marichasana. Slide or swing your body weight to the right so that you can bend your left knee. The other knee has to be down on the floor so that you can go for the twist. If you don't have the lotus, you are in Janu Shirshasana, then rise up with your right knee and twist to your right in this case. We say 3 nice breaths. I'm gonna demonstrate the variation with the half lotus. Let's stay here a couple of breaths more. And then slowly release, come back, extend both legs in front of you. Give a shake to the legs if needed. Janu Shirshasana, other side. Your left knee to the chest, open to the left, maybe pillow or block under the knee. Stay or take half lotus, left foot on the right hip. Inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, fold forward and mount. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathe in. Breathing out. Last one, breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, rise up, Marichasana. First variation with your lotus. Keep the lotus, the left knee down on the floor, bend the other and twist to your right for you. If you have Janu Shirshasana instead, lift your left knee, left hand behind you and you twist to the left. So either way you want to twist in both directions. So if first you twisted on your right, now you're going to twist on your left. Couple of breaths more. Slowly release, come back to the center. Release your legs in front of you. Open for Upavista Konasana. Open to a V shape. I just turn because I don't have enough space there. Keep your legs open on a V shape, any amount. Your feet flex, toes facing up. If you can't really fold forward, maybe place a bolster or a block under your buttocks and use your hands behind you to help you with the forward fold. If you don't need them, hands or forearms or forehead down on the floor. Keep breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, come up, Baddha Konasana, bend the knees, open the knees to the side, feet together. Hands on the feet, inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward any amount. Maybe round in the spine if you like. Kurmasana, turtle pose variation. Slide your arms underneath your legs. Keep your hands as they are or in a rotation of your shoulders. And bring in your hands on your back. Maybe binding, maybe not. Slowly release this position. Coming all the way up. Closing the knees together and extend your legs to the front of your mat. Place your hands together, inhale here. Exhale, round your spine and slowly roll down on the floor. Extend your legs toward the ceiling. Salamba Saravangasana, shoulder standing, first option. Place a block or a bolster underneath your buttocks and stay here. Second option, lift up your buttocks and rest your hands on your buttocks. Third option, lift your legs up to the ceiling again, pointing your feet, gaze to your legs. Hands on the mid-spine. Careful here, if there is any weird sensation on the neck or ears, come down with the buttocks down on the floor. Feel free to play around with a lotus legs in shoulder standing if you like. We go for a fish pose, Matsendrasana. If you have your lotus in the legs, keep it. Let's release the whole back and the buttocks down on the floor. If you have the lotus, keep the lotus with the knees reaching for the floor. As you pivot on your elbows, if you don't have the lotus, your legs will be extended. Hips moving forward, chest opening, top of the head down on the floor. 3 lion breaths in here. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth, tongue out. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Chin to your chest. Release the lotus if you have it. Bring your knees to your chest. Twist. So release your knees to your left and you open the right arm to the right, twisting right. Breathing in, breathing out. One more, breathing in, breathing out. Bring your knees back to the center. Allow the knees to fall on the right. We twist the left. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Curl toward your right side. Help yourself with the left hand and come to sit. Rolling forward to a tabletop position for Shirshasana headstand practice. Feel free to go toward the wall or a wardrobe if you want to use that. Forearms down on the floor. Grab the opposite elbow and then extend the forearms once again, keeping that distance in between your arms. Interlace your fingers, thumbs free. Top of the head down on the floor, back of the head resting on your hands. Stay here. Maybe just enjoying this upside down sensation. Or tuck your toes and lift your knees up any amount. Maybe that's it. When you engage your shoulders muscles, but the top of the head is still on the floor, you should have your body weight supported more on your arms and the feet. Maybe releasing the knees down, taking a break, and then do it again. If you can fully extend your legs, then walk your feet forward toward your arms. Your buttocks is shifting back, and that is the cue that you can maybe bend one knee at a time, maybe both, and lift your knees up. And as a last thing, maybe extending the legs to the ceiling. Don't jump in headstand. Even if you're using the wall behind you, don't jump. It's too risky on the cervical spine. Also, you don't work in building up the strength in the core muscle. Keep breathing. Slowly coming down. Taking a few breaths into child pose. Noticing how it is your breath right now. Releasing the Ujjayi breath if you use that type of breathing technique. And then find your way to lie down in Shavasana, corpse pose. Maybe wearing an extra layer on you, a sweater or a blanket. Allowing the whole body to release down on the floor. Again, adjusting this position if there is any lower back pain or problem, maybe using bolster or just bending the knee, taking the feet down on the floor. And if you don't like this position, maybe take a sitting position. And as you lie down in Shavasana, or maybe you come to a sitting position, I'd like to recall one of the most famous scenes of the movie The Matrix. The scene where there is Morpheus, which is also the name of the god of the dreams, who asks to Neo, the hero of the story, and I quote, "You take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, though. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes." Now, what would you choose? I think that given this choice, a lot of people would choose the blue pill. So stay in this thing that we perceive being the reality with our senses, where there is separateness from the otherness. Because we like the comfort of this reality, what we think we know, what we think that we can perceive with our senses. We like our materialism, our hedonism. And we prefer this sort of reality to the pain that comes with awakening, with waking up to the reality. We prefer this thing that we call reality to the efforts that the awakening journey requires. And yet we all have this choice. To raise against ignorance, against what it seems to be set in stone, what seems impossible. Critically thinking together with active listening, together with diving deeply inside ourselves toward those shadowy corners that we hide from ourselves. Together with compassion, kindness, and love, those are the keys to wake up, to be truly alive, outside the matrix, so to speak. Now let's stay just a few more moments appreciating the stillness and the silence of Shavasana or a sitting meditation position. And then with a slow and mindful transition, curl toward your favorite side and come to sit, keeping your eyes closed or a soft gaze on the floor in front of you. Asato ma sagamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrecho ma amritam gamaya gamaya Shanti 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 This is the Avana Mana mantra. It means, lead me from the unreal to the real self, from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, from mortality to freedom. Peace, peace, peace. Join your palms in Namaste in front of your heart center now. Setting your intention for the rest of your day or evening. Getting clear in where you're going next. Raise your hands to your forehead to remind ourselves we're clear and loving thoughts. Hands on the heart center to remind ourselves we're clear and loving intentions. Hands on the mouth for clear and loving communications. Thank you for practicing together. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed this class together, that you had some fun. Let me know in the comment how it was for you, if it was challenging enough, if it was easy, if you have some feedback for me. I wish you well and see you next night. Ciao, ciao.
never be